I really don't know why I'm wasting my time making this video, but the problem is that these headphone reviewers, or so-called headphone reviewers, upload videos and then people are like, wow, I must buy this headphone because it sounds so good. I'm talking about headphone show in particular here. And, okay, so literally you have these people who have these headphones for sale on their website and they are quote-unquote reviewing the product. Isn't it insane that so many people are taking them so seriously? We're talking about salesmen here, not actual headphone reviewers at this point. It's quite frankly absurd how they're somehow the objectivist de facto. I don't know. It's kind of mind-boggling to me, but anyways, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Sennheiser IE200. And I took DMS's frequency response graph image and used WebPlot Digitizer to extract the frequency response. As you can see here on the screen, I have up the raw frequency response, and then now we have it compared to diffuse field. As we can see, there's a lot of bloat in the lower mid-range and kind of a 1.5 kilohertz peak, but this doesn't matter that much, and a huge mid-range suck out and very boosted upper treble. And compared to the variations, you can clearly see what I'm talking about. We have a clear and distinct separated bass shelf with smooth transition in the mids to the treble, nice downward tilt. It sounds very good, natural sounding. And of course, I EQ'd my moondrop variations to the IE200 and am going to give you some listening impressions. It should come as no surprise that the Sennheiser IE200 sounds absolutely terrible. There's literally like very little bass impact. I mean, you can even see that compared to the Harman Target. You need to be like over 50 years old to even think this headphone sounds okay, I guess, because you need high frequency hearing loss to think this treble is neutral, since it is clearly not. It's very boosted. Well, not like unbelievably boosted, but it's clearly not natural timbre wise, and it's a little bit muddy with not enough sub bass. Vocals are recessed in the mix. It doesn't sound like you're listening to speakers in a room. This just is not natural tonality. And the funniest thing to me about this whole diffuse field compensation thing is that everyone at the headphones.com was recalling like diffuse field and targets like mine shouty, but now all of a sudden that they like start doing their research or maybe just like copying stuff I said in my videos, they're acting like diffuse field is the holy grail. And if we compare the IE200 to diffuse field, we can clearly see a mid-range suck out and bloated lower mids. And I don't know, some of the headphone show targets are quite frankly absurd. They're literally just like a straight line down from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. This is not ideal at all. This is something I was kind of like thinking about, what was it, like 1.5 years ago, but I guess these guys are so far stuck in the past. Really, it's absurd. Okay, so I'll give some song examples here. Okay, TT by Twice. Like you can tell the harmonics are just boosted. The people at the headphone show really just don't understand what timbre is at this point. Maybe they like somewhat got an understanding because of what they're doing with the diffuse field compensation, but even then they still don't know what they're doing. The IE200 does not sound that natural. It's sibilant. The mix is not being played back accurately. Switching to the variations, the bass extension is so much clearer without this muddling in the mid-range. It's really just ridiculous on the IE200. And don't get me wrong, it's not the worst sounding earphone ever, but neither the IE600 or the IE200 are really worth getting. There's way better stuff out there. Like you can actually make an argument for this if this was around $20 just because it has better treble extension than the other stuff. The variations absolutely destroys the IE200, even going by Headphone Show's new standard of diffuse field compensation. The bass is not slamming when it should. Clockwork by Perfume. It's so muddy, dude. It's muddy and bright. Switching back and forth between the variations in IE200, there's clearly so much more separation and detail in the variations versus the IE200. It just sounds compressed in comparison. It's so unnaturally bright. It's harsh and grainy. Fuck! This song really pushes those high frequencies and this can't handle it. It's so bright! 10-1 by Real. Holy fuck, this is insane brightness. It's just too boosted in the upper harmonics. There's no getting around this. I Knew You Were Trouble by Taylor Swift. The vocals are too far back in the mix. The vocal shaping is completely incorrect in this IEM. Vocals, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. When vocals are in higher frequencies, you can hear them peaking more than just normal vocal frequencies. It's really annoying, kind of. The thing is, even though it's not correct tonal balance-wise, the IEM is still very smooth and well extended in the treble, so it does sound quite high detail, and it's not that difficult to get used to the sound, even if it's not natural, and it does sound pretty good for the most part. But at the end of the day, it just does not compete with true top sound quality. The timbre sounds very plasticky and better by twice. Songs that reveal the treble issues really reveal the treble issues, and songs that don't have that much information going on, it kind of just comes across as a boost in detail, even though to those who know what to listen for, it is artificial sounding. But it just sounds horrible in songs like this, Better by Twice. So much high frequency detail in this song. It's so harsh on the IE200. It's really hilarious to me how much better the variation sounds in this song than the IE200. Like, it's incredible how well balanced in the mix the vocalists are versus the IE200. It's kind of all over the place. And this is what happens when you don't follow the science. It's just so bad, dude. Listening to Genie by Girls' Generation, 19 seconds in, there's clearly unnatural thickness in the vocals in this earphone. Switching to the variations, okay. Clearly the vocals are separated from the bass. This sounds so much better. It's impressive that they achieved this treble extension in a single dynamic driver IEM, but the bass shaping clearly cannot be done without a dedicated driver. Like, this earphone literally sounds like a toy. It doesn't sound like actual sound quality, if I'm being honest. It's more like, I don't know, in a lot of songs it sounds pretty okay. I'm a Diamond by Girls' Generation. We can clearly hear issues. The bass is clearly bleeding into the vocals. There's so much harshness to the vocals. 43 seconds in. There's so much sharpness. Switching to variations. Zero harshness at all on variations. I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry sounds absolutely terrible on this earphone. At the start, the drums sound like they're farting or something. There's no distinctiveness to them at all. Her voice is not separated at all. Going to switch to the Quarks DXP, be right back. Okay, so the Quarks DSP honestly wipes the floor with the Sennheiser IE200. This is not even close. I'm honestly not sure why I even dropped this to a C grade. I think it's definitely better than the QKZX HP Con listening to it now. Maybe it depends on the song, but the phase issues are sometimes audible on the Quarks DSP to greater extents on different songs than others. But tonal balance-wise, the Quarks DSP is unbelievably good. Holy fuck, this earphone is unbelievable. If you want to know what correct tonal balance is, you have to buy the Quarks DSP and give it a listen. Seriously, this is really good. I was supposed to be listening to the IE200 for review, but the Quarks DSP is just so unbelievably good sounding that I just didn't even feel like listening to this IE200 bullshit anymore. The tonality is so good on this earphone, very separated bass shelf that's clean and distinct. There's literally no mud in this earphone. The vocal timbre is so good. Treble extension maybe could be a little bit better. I don't know, but it sounds pretty natural. I don't know, maybe there's some slight phase issues, but it's really hard to discern, if I'm being honest, compared to a good phase IEM. I don't know. It still just sounds excellent. Okay, so comparing the Quarks DSP to variations, in these direct comparisons, the magnitude response is so close to each other that you're just going to definitely want to take the better phase response, but the difference in magnitude response between the IE200 and the Quarks DSP is insane. The Quarks DSP is so much better, but the Quarks DSP really does not compete with the Moondrop variations in terms of high fidelity sound. But just remember that magnitude response comes first and phase response second. Okay, so just comparing the Quarks DSP and variations here, to me, I can clearly hear differences in the phase response. Variations is definitely superior, but the thing is, most people aren't high enough level listeners like I am. A lot of people supposedly can't even tell the difference between correct and inverted polarity because they're lower level listeners, so maybe even most people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference between Quarks DSP and variations. But variations beats the Quarks DSP when the variations has correct polarity. With inverted polarity on the variations, honestly, it goes either way since they're both dog shit in phase response. But with correct polarity, variations is extremely good. Okay, so I'll go back to listening to the IE200 now. Switching back to the IE200, this is a joke. So final thoughts are that the IE200 is for children. It's lacking in the sub bass a little bit, and it's a little bit too muddy, and the vocals are definitely too recessed, with upper harmonics being clearly too boosted. This is just not a high fidelity set. Even the $15 Moondrop Quarks DSP blows the shit out of the water in terms of just pure sound quality, no contest. Like, obviously, it's not the worst sounding IEM in the world, I made that clear, but it's not worth your money. If you want good sound quality, do not get the Sennheiser IE200. There are better options, okay? See you guys next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'd like to give a shout out to Bass Gamer, Tripped, Felix, Mild Bill, Christopher Yu, the ROFL Reaper, Tripped once again, Fofo, Castello 4141, Straight Up Bemchech, Ninja Coma 3, Hunter, Vsauce 4, Wadiaker, and Snevry. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It's really amazing to have so many great supporters. If anyone else wants to support, be sure to join the Patreon, YouTube membership, or Discord membership.